opposition non-affiliated. The Seimas of the Republic of Lithuania, or simply the Seimas, is the unicameral parliament of Lithuania. The Seimas constitutes the legislative branch of government in Lithuania, enacting laws and amendments to the constitution, passing the budget, confirming the prime minister and the government and controlling their activities. Its 141 members are elected for a 4-year term, with 71 elected in individual constituencies, and 70 elected in a nationwide vote based on open list proportional representation. A party must receive at least 5%, and a multi-party union at least 7%, of the national vote to qualify for the proportional representation seats. Following the elections in 2020, the Homeland Union Lithuanian Christian Democrats is the largest party in the Seimas, forming a ruling coalition with the Liberal movement, the Freedom Party. The Seimas traces its origins to the Seimas of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania and the Sejm of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, as well as the Seimas of interwar Lithuania. The first Seimas after the restoration of independence of Lithuania convened in 1992. The Seimas of the Republic of Lithuania exercises legislative power in Lithuania. The powers of the Seimas are defined by the Constitution and the laws of Lithuania. The primary function of the Seimas is to consider, adopt and issue laws and amendments to the Constitution. The Seimas also approves the state budget proposed by the government, supervises its implementation, and sets state taxation. In foreign relations, the Seimas ratifies international treaties. Decisions of the Seimas are taken in open simple majority votes. In some cases prescribed by law, a secret ballot is held. For example, in expressing no confidence in the government, constitutional laws are adopted by the Seimas in a majority vote and can be changed only by a 3/5 majority vote. The list of constitutional laws needs to be approved in a 3/5 majority vote. Changes to the constitution itself need to be approved in 2 votes separated by no less than 3 months, by a 2/3 majority. Changes to international borders of Lithuania need to be approved by 4/5 of the members of the Seimas. The Seimas approves or rejects the candidate for the prime minister nominated by the president. The Seimas must also give its assent to the newly formed government and its program before the government can start their work. The government remains accountable to the Seimas for its activities. If the Seimas expresses no confidence in the Prime Minister or the government as a whole, the government must resign. 228 and can ask the President to call an early election. Members of Seimas have legal immunity and cannot be arrested or detained without the consent of the vote of Seimas. The Seimas appoints and dismisses justices and presidents of the Constitutional Court, the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeals, proposed by the President. In its legislative capacity, the Seimas also sets the basis for a judiciary institution advising and, to some extent, binding the President in appointing, promoting or dismissing other judges. 261 to 262. The Seimas also establishes and disestablishes ministries of the government, establishes state awards, can declare martial law on emergencies, start mobilization and introduce direct local rule on municipalities. The Seimas has 141 members, elected to a 4-year term in parallel voting, with 71 members elected in single-seat constituencies and 70 members elected by proportional representation. Ordinary elections to the Seimas take place on the second Sunday of October, with the voting open for all citizens of Lithuania who are at least 18 years old. Members of Parliament in the 71 single-seat constituencies are elected in a majority vote, with a runoff held within 15 days. If necessary, the remaining 70 seats are allocated to the participating political parties using the largest remainder method. Parties normally need to receive at least 5% of the votes to be eligible for a seat. Candidates take the seats allocated to their parties based on the preference lists submitted before the election and adjusted by preference votes given by the voters. 7 elections of the Seimas have been held in Lithuania since independence in 1990. Democratic Labour Party of Lithuania won the absolute majority of seats in the first election in 1992. the only time it has been achieved in independent Lithuania as of 2015. The party suffered electoral setback in 1996, but remained a major electoral force in the election of 2000, allowing it to form the government in 2001. The two parties merged under the banner of Social Democratic Party of Lithuania and formed the government after the elections of 2004 and 2012, and participated in the government as a junior partner after the elections of 2016. Sąjūdis, which had led Lithuania into independence, finished distant second in 1992. Its right wing formed the Homeland Union, a conservative P.